guys, it's finally the day. My Apex head came in for my YZ250, so we're gonna go ahead and throw it on in this video. You will get to watch a first ride. It'll just be up the road and stuff. I won't get to take it to a track in this video, but that will be a future video coming soon. To really get my on-track opinion, I will have like a review style video shortly after this video gets uploaded, so hit that subscribe button if you're interested in that. In this video today, we're gonna be showing you the complete assembly, checking the squish after you install it, and I'm gonna go over some jetting specs with you guys as well. Get the seat and the gas tank off, and that's pretty much it. The rest of it's kind of self-explanatory, but I'm gonna take you all along with me anyway, so let's go. Coolant comes out of this bolt right here with the copper washer at the bottom of the water pump. We're gonna go ahead and drain that coolant. Then we have the motor mount right here that connects to the cylinder head, one radiator hose, and 6 12mm bolts. Now whenever you pop the radiator cap off of this thing, you gotta get ready for the spray, son. So you see how it's just barely coming out? Watch whenever I pop this radiator cap. This shit goes crazy ushy gushy. Whoa, whoa, whoa. There we go. You gotta catch all that engine ice. That stuff be expensive. Alright, now we can leave it right there and go ahead and disconnect that top radiator hose. I like to fold that up here out of the way. You want to go ahead and break your spark plug loose as well. We're going to go ahead and break these loose in a star pattern. Remove all of these nuts, then we can remove the factory head. After you've got all of the cylinder head nuts removed and the copper washers, we're going to go ahead and pull this cylinder head off. Now we're over here on the bench. We've got the directions that come with Apex. We've got all the O-rings. This small O-ring is for the inside dome piece because they do sell these to where you can get multiple different domes. This is going to be the MX dome. They have MX, XC, and SX for the 250s as far as I know. So we've got our factory cylinder head right here. Then we've got the Apex. Now what we have to do is, before we can install it and put the bike back together, we have to kind of like half-ass install it and check what's called the squish. So the squish is pretty much putting a piece of solder on the piston. So we'll have to clean the piston off really good if it has any oil on it, because you have to tape the piece of solder on there. And then pretty much you crank the bike slowly and let the piston bottom out on this head. You don't use any O-rings putting it together, and you don't have to use these copper washers. So you'll just pretty much put the head on with no O-rings, no copper washers. I'm assuming we torque it to spec. I'm gonna torque it to spec. Yeah, right there, tighten the nuts to OEM torque spec. So, and I'll show you that, then we'll torque it down, and then we'll measure the squish and see where we're at. The reason that they recommend that you do this is because they don't know what kind of motor you have, like what kind of shape it's in, who done the top end last, what kind of cylinder base gasket you used. This is by thousandths, you know, of inches. You could have certain pistons with certain base gaskets, certain cylinders. All of my motor is OEM, so it has a Yamaha OEM piston, has a Yamaha OEM cylinder, and Yamaha gaskets all the way through. So we should be golden. They just obviously have you check this just in case. So that's what we're gonna do now. I'm gonna clean off the piston, tape the solder on there, cycle it, pull it back apart, measure it. I molded this to the piston. This is just some lead-free rosin core solder, which is what it says right here, acid core or rosin solder, and bend it into a U shape as shown below, and secure it with some tape. That looks like pretty much in the center, and the U shape goes all the way up. I'll show you what I've built here, that's what I'm working with. So I'm gonna like form that. It says obviously don't let it touch the cylinder walls so it doesn't scratch it, and go ahead and install the apex to check the squish. Okay, so pretty much you want all 3 points of contact as close to the cylinder wall. We've got that solder mounted. We're gonna go ahead and torque these cylinder head nuts, 18 foot-pounds of torque. We're gonna go ahead and put the apex head on with no O-rings and no copper washers. Torque it to 18 foot-pounds of torque. I don't know if it said how many times to do it. Oh, it says using the flywheel of the motorcycle. Okay, so I've got to take the, I probably could use the Kickstarter, but I guess that may like hit it too hard. They don't want to damage it. So I'm gonna just use the flywheel. So I have to take the ignition cover off. It's just some Phillips head screws, and then we'll turn it with a 17mm on the flywheel. Got a 17. We're gonna rock this past stop dead center several times. Take this back off and we measure the thickness of that solder. Gonna set that right there carefully. Bring this baby on up. You can actually see where it squished it. Okay, so it says right here for a 250 to 300 cc, the ideal amount of squish is 1.27 millimeters. We've got 139 on both of those, and then right here on the end we've got 122, and then right here on the end we've got 127. 127. All right, so squish is in check. It says that the ideal is 127. So that is 1.27 millimeters. But all 3 sides check out to where they're either within the minimum, within the ideal, or within the maximum. So now starts the fun part. We get to take the cylinder, put the new O-rings on, put the new copper washers on, torque it all to spec, put the spark plug in, and start the bike up. Right now I'm running a 180 main jet. So these bikes come with a 178 main jet. I still have the 50 Pilot, same needle, second clip position, air screw, 1 turn out. The bike seemed to be a little bit rich, so I am expecting to have to drop down to either like a stock size main or possibly even lower. They do have a jetting chart on their website, but of course I'm in Kentucky, it may not work for you. So I'm gonna kind of go off of their jetting chart and just go by feel, and then I'll do some plug tests and stuff after I feel like I've got it pretty close. All right, so if y'all seen my last video, you know NGK is having some quality control issues. This is a NGK Iridium NR8 EIX, and it lasted 4 hours. Not lasted, I mean the plug is still working. So see, this is where I'm a little bit confused. I have a bunch of new plugs, and I can either throw a brand new one in here. See, I was running my bike on the rich side, so then if the plug broke, no one could say, oh my God, you're running your bike too lean. Since that plug didn't break, do I keep running it? Do I throw a new one in it? Whatever. I'm just gonna keep testing my luck, I guess, and throw a new one in it every 4 or 5 hours. So far, this piston has 4 hours on it. So every 4 or 5 hours, I'm gonna throw a new spark plug in with the new head, with the new O-rings, and with the new copper washers. So let's go ahead and throw this thing together, torque it to 18 foot-pound of torque, and then we'll put it back together and start it up. Okay guys, so like I said, right now we have the same jetting as what I had before. It's a 180 main and a 50 Pilot. The Apex calls for something a little bit leaner on the main, so I'm just gonna start it up anyway, and then I'll probably end up throwing a 178 or a 176 in. But for right now, we're just gonna start it up and make sure we don't hear anything weird. It's what it said to do in the directions. So hopefully it starts. Try Alright, so I'm forcing my dad to ride it so then I can give you all a second opinion. Dude, it absolutely rips. It seems like it, I mean, like maybe it's a hair rich up top, but not really. I think I need to turn the idle up just a hair. Dude, it is literally like a different bike. It takes off like a freaking rocket ship. Listen, I'm not even joking. That bike is it's like a completely different bike. It's literally insane. How smooth it is when you freaking get on it. It doesn't like sputter and then like come on all at once. It's like so, it just, like you just touch the throttle and the wheel just comes off. It's insane. Okay guys, so gotta say, compared to the stock head, just from riding it up the road on the old butt dyno without touching the jetting, like I said, it's got a 180 main and a 50 pilot, factory clip on the second position, so pretty much stock jetting, just a hair richer. And then I think this bike with that head calls for a little bit leaner jetting than where I've got it, but I would rather have it on the richer side and try it out and slowly lean it out. You know, it's kind of ideal if you're not Mitch Payton, I guess. But anyway, I'm not gonna touch the jetting on the bike until I go to the track. I'm gonna take some main jets with me. Down low and everything, it seems perfect. I think I need to turn my idle up just a hair, maybe play around with the air screw just a little bit. But like the bike is better than it was. Like it gained more power, but it's more controllable. It almost like reminds me kind of, if anyone's ever rode a KTM 2-stroke and then you hop back on your YZ, like the KTM is almost like a smoother power delivery. That's what I'm experiencing just from riding it twice up the road. So it like gave it more power, but it made it even more usable than it already was. I mean, the bike ran phenomenal before, but now it runs even better, which I didn't even know if that was possible, but it literally feels like it's so worth the money. Like cost wise to like performance gains, it's something that I kind of battled whenever I built a 110 pit bike, like spending money on pipe and throttle body and stuff like that. How much performance gains you get out of it versus what it costs. This is like the most budget friendly performance gain that, like everyone says in the Facebook groups, you have to have an Apex head or an aftermarket head on your bike of some sort, because it's like the best bang for buck power upgrade. But that's gonna be pretty much all for today's video. I hope y'all enjoy it. I'm gonna throw up some shots of the Apex installed so y'all can see what it looks like. The finish on it, they offer raw and an anodized blue color. I actually got this one, it was anodized blue, and then I put it in our vapor machine and vapor honed it, so it's like a raw aluminum finish now. And I think it looks really good with the motor from where the bike is kind of like retro looking. I've got some retro graphics on the way for it, so I may do a video on that too. But anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Always remember, everybody starts as nobody, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.